Hello. Today is Monday, May 30th, and I'm coming to you live from my studio in Haslett, Michigan. And I may or may not be I set some settings for closed captioning, so I don't know what's going to happen there. You guys can try it out and see. I'm just looking to see if there's anything to click on. I don't see anything. Okay. So you can decide, you can tell me if anything's working with that. I don't know. The good news is it's supposed to be in English, so that'll help me. So pop in, say hi. Give me a hi in the chat. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day here. I have the windows open. I had closed the windows because neighbors on either side of me, there's an in-ground pool over there and an above-ground pool over here. And both were active. Well, the in-ground pool was active. The above ground pool, it just got set up today and it's being filled with water, so it's not active yet, but they were playing in there. Let's see if Claire's gonna bark at the motorcycle. Trampoline, and there was some hoopla while they were getting the pool set up for later. So and then the other neighbor, because there's 3 neighbors attached to my yard. The other neighbor was mowing, so it was quite loud. And so I closed the windows, and then it was quite hot, so I opened the windows. So hopefully it won't be too horrible. Like the motorcycle just went by. It's probably as loud as it'll get. So we'll see. If it gets too loud, I will close the windows, and then I'll just start glowing. Hey, hi Anna, hi Marilyn. Thank you for joining me and for saying hi. I have some things to show you today. Ooh, 1, 2, 3. I have 4 things. I would have told you I have 3 things. I have oh no, I didn't start that row yet, so I won't start that row until I show you this part. What do you want to see first? 3, well, they're all knitting related. They're all fiber related. Let's open the mail first. So I got this in the mail not a couple days ago. A few days before my birthday. My birthday was last Monday, a week ago. So I wasn't here. I was hosting or participating in a Zoom along for my birthday. It was really fun. I made a mistake though. People were popping in and out, and I was chatting all the time, and I'm like, I need to, like, chatting in addition to chatting, and I was like, I need to save the chat so I can see what everybody said, and I forgot to save the chat, and you can't go back and get the chat, so I'm very sad. So if you were at my birthday party, thank you. It was fun. One of the attendees said, are you going to do this next year too? And I was like, yes I am. But if I'd been here on the YouTube instead of on the Zoom, I would have opened my mail that arrived before that. This is the supplies for a class I'm taking in July. Nope, not July. The month before that, which would be June. So I'm taking, I'm teaching for stitches, my entrelac class, and I'm also like a 6-hour version of my entrelac class. It's kind of a medium intensity. Hope I'm not cutting anything. And then I'm taking 2 classes. It's going to be a very busy 2 weeks. Weekends. I'm going to take a class in sewing a dress, this time with a machine. And I was going to use some, I came across some old, in somebody's, we're trying to get rid of this fabric kind of pile, some knit fabric. And I was going to use that as like the muslin as I take the class. But it's a thick knit. I don't think it's the kind of knit I would make my dress out of, so I don't know how it'll work. So I feel like I should buy some fabric, some knit fabric, so that if the first one doesn't work, I'll have the second one. But if the first one does work, then I'll have the second one. So I don't know. So the second class I'm taking is the tapestry weaving class. The first class is with Jennifer Stern Hassman. Jennifer Hassman Stern. J Stern Designs. And she's a sweetie. And the tapestry weaving class is with Kenita Tully, who I have not met yet. And with that one, there was a required kit, and that is what I got in the mail. So that's what we're opening right now. So now we have bubble wrap that, you know, that goes in the pile of bubble wrap in case I ever mail anything. Actually, I used it when I took some stuff to donate, because it was kind of, you know, are you like this? Do you have to open it all up and then make it at least the same size and fold it and then set it aside? That's what I have to do. I'm guessing you maybe do too. So this is the kit for the tapestry weaving class. It's the loom, which we're going to make. So, Tapestry 101 kit for stitches at home, mailed from Manhattan, Kansas. This tapestry kit should include the following. Here we go. 2 stretcher bars, one 12-inch and one 10-inch. I mean, I think we need 4 stretcher bars, and I have 4 stretcher bars. I don't think 2 is going to work. She needs an editor, perhaps, or maybe I'm just not reading it correctly. 4 colors of worsted weight yarn. Now, I had that, but she put it in the kit. And I believe she said she was going to use Brown Sheep Company yarn. Oh, it's a little, I like these kind of bags. So there's my colors. I have the most beautiful green and the most beautiful gold. And then I have the most beautiful blue. It's like she knows me. I don't know her. And then a gray. So these are awesome. And we'll be making at least three tapestry pieces. One's going to be stripes, and one's going to be diagonals, and one's going to be curves, I think, is the way that I remember. 4 colors of worsted weight yarn for the weft. That's this way. 2 spools of 12.9 cotton seine twine for the warp. So that's these. Wonder what those things are in the middle. Dowels. They're just dowels. So there's the warp for at least 2 of them. I don't know. And then 3 craft sticks for shed stick and other uses. 3 popsicle sticks, I would call them. You know, I think popsicle sticks are thinner than this. Tongue depressors are this way. Oh, that smells like a tongue depressor too. And set of 3 weaving needles. Those are cool. 2 of them are flat. All right, let's turn on the. Look at this. This one's like a flat needle with a bent tip. This one's like a long, sharp with a bent tip. And this one is straight but has bizarro, like a little window up here. And then a long window there. I don't know. Oh, from left to right. A flat, straight raffia needle can also be used as a flat bodkin for threading, such as ribbon or elastic. That's the weird one. A cranked weaving needle or raffia wire. That must be the cranked part. I don't know. And a flat cranked raffia needle. So apparently I don't think raffia is going to happen, but I'm ready if it does. So that must be cranked. The bend must be cranked because these both mentioned cranked. So that's interesting. I don't have these, so that's awesome. And then the last ingredient is a tapestry beater, for which she sent a hair pick. So this will be the thing that you boop, 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 tamp down your weaving with. So that's exciting. I got all the things. I'm ready for that class. Now I'm supposed to also be getting the pattern. I ordered the pattern for the dress. The first class is June 11th. I don't know if that's the first pattern for the class. I don't know if that's, did I say anything out loud there? June 11th. I don't know if that's the first day for the sewing class, but the event is 11, 12, 18, and 19, if those are Saturdays and Sundays. And so we have a little time. I hope I'm getting the pattern, because I'll need the pattern. So that's exciting. I got all the things, and man, those colors are beautiful. Wonder if everybody got the same colors. I bet they did. I'm very happy. Okay, hair pick. I probably have a hair pick from somewhere, and then very cool needles. So and the craft sticks. They smell just like you remember they smell. And there we go. Somehow it doesn't all fit in like it did. Are you seeing any kind of captioning, or is there a button to press for captioning by any chance? I wonder, because I'm over here in a different studio. I can't tell. Chat rate. I don't know. I'll just keep going. Maybe when we play it back, because I mean, you can hear me now. So that's the first thing I wanted to do. The next thing I wanted to do was show you last Thursday from 5 to 7, there was a stitch out at Steams and Woven Art, the fabric store and the yarn store combined. And it was supposed to be a stitch out, but it was, ooh, bird just landed right on top of my window. It's probably gonna poop. I can only hope. The weather was really iffy. Yeah, I don't know where to look. I just changed some settings, Marilyn, for that said closed captioning or I just thought I'd try it and see. Thank you for reporting back though. Stitch out. It had been sort of raining. It was wet raining like all day long. The radar, or not the radar, but the weather apps all showed like between 5 and 7 nothing, but up till 5 and after 7 rain. So Jessie and I made the decision to have an indoor stitch out, so that would be a stitch in instead. So we put signs on the door and we put it on social media, and we stitched in the back of Woven Art instead. So then that was fun. There were 4 people. 5 at one point, or 5 total, but 4 at a time. And what I did, I only took one project to work on, and that was my rocket tee, which is done. If you came to my birthday party, you know that I wore my rocket tee, even though it wasn't really done. It's not really done. But there it is. There's the V. And I went with this border with the little rick-racky edge. Judy's, isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. Not Judy. Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off is on all the borders. And it has the little eyelets. And it hasn't been blocked yet, but I did start weaving in the ends. So yay me. That's what I took to the stitch out. And I will continue to take it to the, yep, that's the one I did, to the stitch out until, or somewhere, to places, until this is done, until the ends are all done. So this is the first sleeve. I've been sewing the ends in. Along here you can see a little bit of it dipping down, and from the outside it looks just faboo. So that would be right along here. You can sort of see the bend where the shaping happened. There's a little bit of a boop there. So that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And I was chit-chatting away, and we were laughing so hard. It was really fun. So like I didn't notice I was weaving all these ends in, which isn't really true, but it didn't bother me as much as if there hadn't been people to laugh and chat with. The colors are coming out, in my opinion, a little bit brighter and darker and brighter a little bit on this camera. They look a little bit lighter to me, but I'll just weave in two so you can see what I was doing. I won't make you watch all of them. Is that blunt? It is. None of my weaving needles would help because they're either too sharp or too flat. That's a really good one. I'll use that one. Sorry, other needle. I rejected it. Okay, so I've just been, you know, giving a little tug. So what happens is there's a little hole right here where one strand started and the other stopped, or technically one strand stopped and the other started. So I can make it nice and big. And we don't want that to show under the arm. So when we weave in the end, we being me, when we weave in the ends, we want it to look nicer. And I was moving from the mohair to the fingering weight. So this was the outgoing end, this mohair end, and this was the incoming end. And I don't have the right words in the right order to say it, so I'll show you. If I were to weave them in these directions, because you want them to go opposite ways, they were headed in opposite. The knitting was headed in the same direction, but one tail. Anyway, let me just pass that on and hopefully it'll become apparent. But if I wove them in opposite directions, that serves to open up that hole, and that doesn't really help me hide the hole. So if I put them in the opposite direction, then it closes that hole. And if I put the colors with the colors, so the mohair down here and the not mohair, the fingering up there, not only does it close it, but it also kind of squishes that gap together, the little stair step where the color changed, because it's you're lining up the first stitch of the new color over, or I'm sorry, you're lining up the first stitch of the new color with the last stitch of the old color. They're on the same level, so it doesn't, there's a jog where that happens, a little stair step. So what I've been doing is kind of like a duplicate stitch version, meaning I'm taking this little serpentine of the last row, which goes up and comes out. It's nice, you can see that it's white bumps there. Then it was blue, and then it turned white, these upper bumps. So I'm going to sort of, I'm going to sort of, because I'm a trained professional with the duplicate stitch. It's also kind of like grafting. And I'm going to kind of mimic the duplicate stitch. Not mimic the duplicate stitch. I'm doing duplicate stitch while wearing the wrong glasses. These are the, I can see well enough, and they look, I can see the computer, and I can see, and they don't reflect as much as my real glasses, which is what I would normally be using right now. So I'm just trying to aim, and in every one of these I'm kind of off on lining things up, so I just kind of go for it, not necessarily lining things up perfectly. So I don't know, I do about 1 inch. And so I'm making this serpentine, you know, like an S, like a slithery snake, all S out. And it resembles the knitted row, the back of the knitted row, and so it maintains all the stretch of that row, the original stretch of that row, which is a really good advantage to it. And I would have, so I've done, I don't know, about 1 inch there. So I would have prevented all of this if I had carried the strands from stripe to stripe. And I did that actually up here, up here, up here. One of these two edges of the V-neck was the beginning of the row as I worked the top of the yoke top down. Oh, it's probably on this, yeah, it would be on this side that I picked up. So well, I can't see it now, but I did carry it up because I would rather that be less stretchy if it was going to restrict it at all. And here on the sleeve, I don't want it to restrict any of the stretch. So I cut all the strands between all the stripes. That's the end of that story. So then this one I go the opposite way and also make the kind of, and it doesn't have to be beautiful because it's on the wrong side. It just needs to kind of hide. Oh. Okay, I'm way up here. That's all right. Yeah. Just has to hide from the front. So I'll finish this one about an inch and then I'll snip them and flip it over and show you what it looks like. So it takes a little bit of, you have to know where the strand goes, and after the light bulb comes on, I think, then it's not so bad that you're making the serpentine and that you're following the top and bottom bumps, or whichever direction, you know, whichever one comes first, bottom and top. And just kind of doing little diagonal stitches, kind of, there and there, across, across, across. So you're duplicating half a stitch at a time. So that's at least an inch there. So, you know, here's the one for the next row. So it was about here, and I've gone about an inch in either direction. And I want to make sure I'm cutting ends that I have actually woven in, and that I'm not cutting my sweater. So I'm a little careful for that. Oop, don't lose this needle, Sarah. So let's see, that was right here. So now we'll turn it right side out, or out if you're from north of the border. So where was, oh, it's over here. I can see a little bit. So it was this one right here. Pop that puppy through. It was this one right here that I sewed the ends in. So these have all been sewn in. These have not, and oops, these have not. And so you can see that, you know, the stitches, the beginning and ending stitches haven't been pulled tight yet. So you can see the looseness and the holes there. And it goes all the way up to here too. But if I take this out, this is the one I just did. That little leany bit is one of the decreases. It just happens to have a light stitch over a dark stitch. So right in there is where I wove in my ends, right there. Looks pretty good. So there's 2 more ends. Yay me. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 more on this sleeve, and then 1,000 on the other sleeve, and then all the ones down the side of the body. And then, yeah, there's more. So this will be, especially since it's 84 degrees now, this will be getting carried around for me to work on when I can sit. This is not something I do by myself in my house. Even if I turn on an audiobook or a movie, this is like, nope, I'm doing it with people where I can talk and pretend I'm not weaving in 1,000 ends in mohair. It's only half 1,000 in mohair, mind you. So that's that. That's 2. The next thing is, you can help me. I'm kind of messed up. It's kind of hilarious. Anna, if you're still there, you'll appreciate this. But I was knitting, and I had people around me, and they asked about the pearl strings that I know I've shown you guys about. That I've shown you before. And so I very nonchalantly put one on, you know, stuck it on the end of the needle and pulled it through, and then and then put the needle on and pulled it back through. So the needle was in there again, except I don't think it was the same needle size I'd been using. So we have to figure out what needle size I'd been using. That's what we're going to do. But here, so this is the Starsky sweater. It's a class I'm teaching. Anna's in the class, which is why I said it might be of interest to her. And the last time we met, which was, I don't know, at least a month ago probably, we broke for the fronts and the back. So this is my armhole. I'm not doing any kind of inset armhole. I'm just doing drop shoulder. So not that, but that. And this is all the farther I've gotten. Because I haven't been trying really hard. I feel like does that mean anything? I feel like, and mark these words, right? I feel like once I get all the ends woven in, like I want to persevere on the ends, for this sweater right here, although not at home because I have other things to do. So I will have stuck with that basically from start to finish, and I'm very proud of myself, right? And when that's done, this will be the one that I stick with from start to finish. I believe that in my heart. So my question right now is this the needle that I was using, or is this another random one? I know I pulled it out of my basket of knitting tricks here, which is just this project. So my hope is that they're all the same size. So here's another one. There's one already in. So this won't take long. I just need somebody to keep me company. And that's where you come in. What's this? Oh. This is the giant ball of Noro. There's 2 left. And this is the giant ball of Silk Garden Sock Solo, both Noro. Oh, Noro Ito. Sorry. Say the name. Anna, I think it's okay. I was just like, oh no, you do this, and then you do this, and at some point I'm like, did I just pick up a different needle? And of course it's the one I'm working on. Okay, I think that's all the needles that are in here. So the next question is, after I find my needle gauge, whew, whether they're all the same, and if they are, it's all fine. Okay, so we'll do some suspense. Oh, so I don't have a needle in there. I do have a needle over here, which used to be, okay, so this one I think we're okay. This one is because we didn't use different size needles. You're on the second side on your start. Oh, so you're not ready. I thought you were ready. Oh, good. So it's just Brittany that'll be mad at me because for the rest of you, I just postponed the next session because it was supposed to be June 5th. And I thought Anna and Brittany were ready, but it appears that only Brittany's ready. Brittany, who's never knit a sweater in her life, the one of us who's never knit a sweater in her life, is way ahead of us. So there you go. Just putting us all to shame. So this appears to be a US 7. This is the one that's in this side that I'm not working on right now. So really, I should put the pearl string back in there. Did I have an extra pearl string? Is this an extra? And then I'm afraid to pull on any of them because these stitches are bigger. I accidentally pulled the string right out. Not of all the stitches, but about a couple inches of them. And I was like, nope, that's not what I meant to do. All right, you guys, I just had an extra one. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's do this for a sec. Base height. So this is what I was demonstrating. So this is the side I haven't knit yet. Motorcycle. And so I'm putting... Yes, take a break. And Fran is hilarious. She's like, okay, just tell me, but I'm still not going to start it yet. Like, okay, it's fine. So I shoved the little spaghetti piece on the needle. Even though it's a big needle, I was nervous that it wouldn't work on big needles, but it did. And it's like, it's on that little, I mean, it's only on that little bit, but it's enough. And then I'm going to pull that needle through. Oops, don't pull that, Sarah. So, and you know, I don't want to assume it's going to stay put together, but so I just stop every once in a while and give a little shove to it again. But I'm pulling the needle through and there you go, and it pulls the pearl string through. And then you just pop the needle off and untie the knot that the pearl string tied itself in. So this was a 7, right? Let's do this again. So this was a 7. This is probably the one I had for the back because it's really long. And so now this is all on pearl strings except this one over here that I don't know if it's the right size needle. So this needle should also be a 7, 6, 8, 7, yay. Which means that if this one's a 7, everything's good. We did not use another, yeah, tied a knot at the end. So that's probably a really good idea. I sort of thought about tying a knot in my pearl string, and then I thought, but what if it kinks it? But they're so damn long, and we can snip them. You can kind of trim them off if, like, I'm kind of expecting that at some point the little, the little opening will split. But so far it's been amazing and very, resilient, I'll say. But you can always take some scissors and just go boop and cut off a little bit if it does get a little bit messed up, because this sucker is long. That set came with a long one and 2 short ones, and the long one is really long. What was I doing? Oh, I dropped the needle. No, I didn't. It's attached to the so hopefully this is a 7. I'm just gonna go 5, 6, 7. It is. So I'm fine. It's all fine. Everything's fine. Whew. Okay, so I was like afraid to work on that anymore. I thought I was ruining everything. I did impress my friends with the ability to pull the needle in and out, but okay, so that's what I'm working on, and I'm this far. Woohoo! That's from the armhole up, so I have a little ways to go, and then I'll do the back, and then I'll do the other front. So let's tie a little like that. Is that all you did? That may or may not come out. Should make it think twice before falling all the way out. But yeah, I sat on one end of it, and then I picked up the sweater, and it went whoop out of the not all of it, just like 10 or 12 stitches, but I was like, no! You know, the slow motion where you can't get it back, like when I forgot to save the chat. Okay, so this is ready to be worked on, and it can be worked on when I'm not working on leaving in the ends, right? And then there's a story. Okay, I was gonna try to do half an hour, and it is half an hour right now. So there's a story. I don't know what the story, how it goes, but basically this is a pattern by a woman named Jill Zielinski, aka Knitterella. I know Jill because she's the person who designed my logo, of which I have 0 samples right now. 0. I have 0 samples of my logo right now. Yep, it's boxes with... It's what you saw probably on my YouTube channel page. It's that thing. So she came up with that for me. And she lives in Pinconning, Michigan, which I thought was a cheese, but it turns out Pinconning cheese is from Pinconning, Michigan. So who knew? And so she's a graphic designer. That's how I hired her to do my logo. And she's also a designer. And I don't know, I think she does something else too. But she came back into my attention because I had been talking with Jean DeCoster, who is of Elemental Effects fame. So if you've taken my Fair Isle vest class, that was the yarn on the bottom shelf that I made everybody buy, and then I made it, or not made everybody buy, but that I highly recommended. And then when the sale happened and it was all discounted, I made everybody buy it. So it was a jumper weight Shetland that was U.S. sourced and U.S. dyed, and dyed on top of natural sheep colors, which was really pretty. So she's retiring and she's selling off bits of her business, and she's selling the Cormo wool section to Jill. This is the tie-in. So I had been talking to Jean. We actually had lunch on Easter Sunday, which, you know, that's not easy to do because she just kind of popped up because she was in Michigan visiting Jill, helping to, you know, whatever, smooth the transition. And so I put Jill's, I signed up for Jill's email newsletter thingy, you know, like I want to hear about her yarn dyeing and yarn adventures. Let's just not try to find the right word. So I went into her site and I signed up for her newsletter. And then during May, which people call Me Made May, hashtag Me Made May, MEMADEMAY, each week I believe she was showcasing, or not showcasing, well, showcasing and discounting a group of her patterns. So one week it was sweaters. This particular week, not this week, but this particular week, it was some of her shawl patterns. So I saw this one and I thought, wow, wouldn't that be a nice use of yarn for the yarn I got from Cornelia Tuttle Hamilton, who's also trying to like divest some of her things. And so her yarn, which I've been telling you was, wow, somebody's grilling out and it smells really good. I told you that it was going to be on sale for 50% off till it was gone, which I swear is what she told me, but now it's really just to the end of May. So you have today and tomorrow if you want to buy any more. Yeah, and she has, I don't know, 6 or 8 yarn lines. But I had purchased, oh, I put it far away. I had purchased, let me grab it. I'm going to make the dog bark. Hang on. Hi! Oh, too hot to bark. Okay, it's too hot to bark. Oh, here comes some barking. Here we go. I knew it. So here's some of it. I bought the one that was mohair and silk blend like Kid Silk Haze, except that it's thicker. So it's a DK weight version of Kid Silk Haze. Aren't those pretty? So the shiny bit is the silk and the fuzzy bit is the mohair. Did I say that right? Mohair and silk. So those I haven't wound, but I did happen to wind. And this is the sweater, the shawl pattern here, the surf and turf shawl. So the surf is represented by the feather and fan, and the turf is represented by garter stitch. There's a little bit more close up. And tell the whole story, Sarah. There's another version that's bigger that uses 6 colors. There we go. And I thought, well, I have 11 colors. I could take at least 6 of them and put them together. So I actually put together 3 blues and a red and a white. No, not a white, maybe a black. Here we go. And it was beautiful, and I threw the rest of them, which were these, into a reject pile, and then I looked at them and thought, well, those are beautiful. Especially if you put the black in there. Let's do this. Let's just get rid of me. Put that there. So I thought, well, that's really pretty. Those together. They're not my colors at all. Marilyn pointed out that this color, maybe this color, and definitely this color are in my striped cardigan that I've been working on. So at least I'm being consistent by going out of my comfort zone. But I thought, well, those would look really pretty. So since I'm being monogamous to my sweater, I cast on. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty, you guys. So this is the surf side of the surf and turf. It starts with a little whoop-de-doo. And I'm using, because this is not the yarn they called for. It called for a DK, and she used a cashmere, 100% cashmere. But I actually went up a needle size. Now I normally go down needle sizes because I'm a loose knitter. But I started it in, I think, the yarn or the needle that she calls for, and it was too dense. So I went to I think that says 7. What do you think? 4.5 millimeter. That's a 7. It's starting to come off. And she calls for a 6. So it's very unusual for me to go up a needle size, but I did in fact go up to a 7, and I am loving this fabric. It's super open, so like I wouldn't do this normally for a fabric, although with this fiber I think it's perfect. So this is just feather and fan, and then this is feather and fan with the little lace, they're called yarn overs in there. And look, so this is one repeat right here. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm so excited. And it's just scrumptiously soft. So I just finished the second repeat. I think there's 5.5 repeats total. So I'm at the second one. And then when you're done with all the repeats, then you switch to your main color, which in my case is black, and you just do garter stitch. So it's a triangle shawl. It gets bigger, bigger, bigger each row. And then you get to the center point and you start you switch to garter stitch and start decreasing. Oh, so I can show you that picture, and it gets smaller, smaller, smaller. So I don't happen to have enough black because I only bought one of each color. So, oh, I do not. Boop. So this is where I started, and so I'm here. Oh. Oh, so I'm halfway there. That's crazy. Oh, okay, so I'm halfway there. But they get longer, longer, longer till it gets as wide as it's going to be, and then you start decreasing back down to a point on the other side. And that's the shape of it. So I'm like, I don't have any more black. I don't think the black, she's calling for a lot more black than I have, or a lot more of the main color than I have. Thanks, Marilyn. And thanks, Anna. So my first thought was I should buy more black yarn, especially before the end of May while it's still on sale. And then my second thought was it only takes it doesn't take the whole skein of the five colors that I'm using. So I could stripe the garter stitch out too, and maybe I'd have enough black that way and I wouldn't have to buy any more yarn. That sounds sort of frugal, even though it's only recently stashed yarn. And then I'll just say that one of my friends said, I'm going to order yarn. Do you want me to order the black? And I said, yes. So I've got black that's going to come, and I can save it if I decide to stripe the other side. Oops. If I decide to stripe this side, so it would be straight up and down stripe. So that's still kind of like surf and turf, ripply waves versus not ripply waves, the straight lines. And they're pretty. It's so hot though. Like, it's on my lap right now, and yep, it's gorgeous. I'm so excited. Totally not my normal colors. None of them. It's not the right green. It's not the right purple. It's the right black. So that's what I've been working on the last few nights instead of weaving in ends or working on. Well, Starsky was at a standstill because I was nervous about the needle, and I don't want to weave in ends here in my house. I just wove in two with you, and it was like torture. Not because you were there. You made it easier. Oh, it's called Surf and Turf Shawl. It's not discounted anymore. Oh, you can't see it. It's not discounted this week. Maybe something else is, but she goes by Knitterella. So if you go to Ravelry or you can go to Knitterella online and buy it straight from her. I think that's what I did. And then I'm not sure how to, if you buy something not on Ravelry, I'm not sure how to get it into Ravelry. So that's like, Anna, all that Arn and Carla's stuff, I was like, okay, now I have it. How do I get it in Ravelry? Which maybe I don't need to have it in Ravelry, but I'm confused. So Surf and Turf. She also has, and remember, she's from Michigan, so she also has, and she also has, a lot of her designs are probably named after Michigan-y things. A lot of her pictures are in, outside. And she has a sweater called the Wixom sweater because, there's Wixom, Michigan. So, and my friend Kelly's last name is Wixom. No, it's not. Her maiden name is Wixom. So I told her, and she said, well, I guess I have to make that one. So she's using 100% cashmere. That's 190 yards for 50 grams. That might be a little thinner than what I'm using. Mine's 262 for 50. Yeah, so it's definitely thinner. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. So I made 45 minutes. That's not quite 30, but it's better than the hour that I've been hitting recently. So I consider it a victory. Yeah, phew. That's what I have today. Thank you for joining me. I have been rewatching and writing notes. I just haven't put them up yet. So that should happen soon with all my, since I moved to YouTube Live, all of those will have notes soon. Because I have actually been working on that. And I think that's it. So I will see you next week at 5, Monday at 5. I mean, we don't say Happy Memorial Day because it's a day of reflection and sadness. So enjoy your reflection and sadness today. I don't know. Oh, Marilyn just wove in five ends. For locals, Meg, who owns Webinar, and her husband, every year, every Memorial Day, they go and I'm going to say plant American flags leading on the sidewalk and on campus, leading up to a memorial stone, a big memorial stone that's there that honors, I'm guessing, MSU students killed in one of the wars. I actually don't remember what the plaque says. But she put a picture of it on her page this morning that they had done it again. So I thanked her for that. Not that it matters that I thanked her, but I like to be reminded that what the holiday is really about. So anyway, I was very fortunate. None of my uncles were killed in any of the wars, unless there's one somebody's not telling me about. So very fortunate in that regard. And with that exciting note, I am going to say goodbye. I'll see if anything happened with closed captioning. Maybe I was also supposed to turn something on. I don't know. I couldn't find it. But I will see you next week. Bye.